Sean O'Malley's unexpected rise. You're excited because the biggest card of the year is just around the corner. Although the entire lineup is strong, the final 3 fights stand out. One more time you scan the lineup, you notice Sean O'Malley, an unknown prospect among players like Charles Oliveira and TJ Dillashaw. Welcome back everyone. In today's video, we will be talking about Sean O'Malley. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. A man who recently lost by unanimous decision to the 9th ranked bantamweight. Someone who hasn't established his value at the top of the division. And that kid is busy. He's working on everything. He's very concentrated. He continues to get better and better, as in a psychedelic reign. He doesn't compete in the undercard. His battle has surpassed those of Dar, Yash, and Ramrod. Most amazing of all, he was able to defeat the best bantamweight in the world by skipping over 11 of the division's top rivals. Against a man who won paper, not to mention against a former undisputed champion. Shouldn't even be in the octagon with him. You may have been a little perplexed when the contest was first announced, and it seems a little strange. However, it doesn't feel wholly incorrect either. You have to be looking forward to it, don't you? Since this is what we've all been requesting, I was thrilled to see Sean O'Malley. Give him some of these more famous names. I'll ask you a question now. How did this happen exactly? Sean O'Malley competed in Dana White's Contender series first season before joining the UFC. O'Malley was 23 years old, 7-0 undefeated, and looked like any other fighter at first glance. Fans did, however, catch a few flashes of the superstar in the making once he entered the octagon. I will take advantage of this opportunity to go out there and kick this child in the head and body until he passes out. The bout will last for 2 rounds. Then I will destroy this guy, and you'll want to sign me. O'Malley was undeniably talented and showy, but most importantly, he had charisma. When he impressively dispatched his opponent, he generated conversation. There you have it, with his massive right hand, Sean O'Malley. He ascended the Aragon and announced that this was the Sugar Show from that point forward. They claimed he was the successor to Conor McGregor, a striker with exceptional talent and even greater performer. Whenever something fantastic like that is compared to you, you must be doing something right. They anticipated that he would become a champion in 2 to 3 years. He would be forced into the top 5 after a few more fights. But there was a problem. He never said I'll knock anyone out. I'll knock anyone in the top 10 or 15, or anything similar, because in my opinion, he hasn't defeated anyone who's like, okay guy, you're the destroyed hill. McGregor made no secret of his desire to face the best and win the title soon after making his UFC debut. In contrast, Sugar was satisfied with his position below the top 15 and the bullying of competitors who were significantly less skillful than him. O'Malley launched a podcast and a Twitch account at this time. These platforms provided opportunities for additional publicity, and O'Malley had no trouble babbling on and on. Most fans found his boasting distasteful for a man who outright refused to take on ranked boxers. However, O'Malley was establishing his reputation with each triumph. When you're up against weak opposition, it is much simpler to rake up bonuses and achieve highlight reel knockouts. And O'Malley did exactly that on almost every card in which he participated. Each accomplishment was a badge of honor for him, something to be proud of. I definitely feel like superhuman. I feel like all my senses are firing on another level. I'm a star, I'm the man, I'm what everyone is watching tonight. In a short period, Sugar developed his mistake and became a star. He was now the division's wildcard. O'Malley's first defeat came in 2020 when he was TKO'd by Marlon Vera. Despite the contentious conclusion, O'Malley being stretched out of the octagon was the night's almost memorable image. This is when everything collapses, am I right? The outspoken combatant spends a few months in hiding, faces criticism from the shadows, and emerges a transformed person. The following day, Sugar returned, acknowledged the defeat, and delivered what many called a delusional tirade of a defeated and vengeful boxer without flinching. You have received a lot of attention for claiming that you're still unbeaten, and we are all left to speculate as to your mindset in making that claim. You watched that fight. He got lucky. I talked to the Sugar State Athletic Commission and they took it away. If he wasn't already despised, his tour of delusion turned him into the 135 km division's most despised fighter. The typical course of action would be to engage in the riskiest struggle imaginable and venture out to disprove the skeptics. The actions of a combatant, including doing that. The billionaire O'Malley chose Thomas Almeida, who had won 4 of his previous 5 fights. Someone who has the talent to make him appear fantastic. O'Malley eventually started launching fadeaway threes and breaking angles while laughing at everyone who called him a broken man. In the following 2 fights, he knocked out opponents who appeared to be lost to me. Now, I'm not kidding. On short notice, he faced up against Chris Mountino, a brick wall 9-4 outside of the UFC and had never fought before. What did you think of him and his general position? He appears to be developing into a master star. 3 minutes earlier, it could have been spotted. In the second round, he could have ended the fight. That altercation could have and ought to have been broken up earlier. That halt did not bother me in the least. After that, he destroyed Rowan Pava, a former flyweight who had won his previous match by scores of 3-2. O'Malley was now on a 3-fight winning streak, and Era's defeat had vanished into obscurity. In the midst of the high-flying show, O'Malley's UFC contract came to an end. He entered negotiations having won his last 3 games, but most importantly, as the bigger name in the bantamweight category. I'm the biggest name in the bantamweight division. One of the biggest names in UFC right now, the former champion prior Yan has become interested in him due to his popularity. A person like Yan would not normally take a battle with someone like O'Malley under normal conditions. Sugar is unique with the sector, though. He is a unicorn fighter with the largest popularity among his contemporaries, despite not having a single ranking victory. He is a mystery to most people and a loud voice to some. He achieved this by treating the game more like a business than a sport. There is no questioning that his stature as an elder and his original way of thinking as a businessman, even though others may find his approach sacrilegious. O'Malley entered a second contract after his first one expired and targeted the top players in the division. Pedro Munoz was his opponent, and he lost. Then, this lunatic attacked the previous king in a fit of sheer Jan. He leaped the line past his toughest opponents and entered a spot on the year's strongest card. He stands to gain from the circumstances. As practically everyone loses no compassion, allocation is not a major concern. But if Sugar pulls off the surprise, we've got one of the biggest names in sports on our hands. This is how it is done. I assume you first build your reputation before rising to the top. As soon as he put pen to paper and signed his first contract with the UFC, O'Malley carried out his strategy. He is on the path to championship success now that he has secured a considerably larger contract. There is plenty to gain and little to lose, unconventional strategy, but with a way to play the game. That is all for this video. We will be back soon with another informative video. Don't forget to like and share this video. Until next time.